Hello guys, welcome to another section of Excel for Work, a virtual training program to help you increase productivity and work smart at your workplace. In today's session, we'll be looking at running simulations in Excel using tools like GoSeek, Solver, Scenario Manager, and data tables. So join me in this session as we increase our knowledge using Excel. We're first going to start off with the GoSeek sheets. So in Excel, there are times when you have to run certain analysis or calculations in order to derive certain answers. Now, in some instances, you would have to make changes to your results in order to know what your input will have to be to achieve those results. Take, for instance, our normal employee remuneration schemes, where an employee is paid a certain amount as their net salary after taking certain deductions from the basic salary. Now, if you want to determine what the basic salary of a particular net salary would be, this will mean you have to work backwards in terms of your calculations. With Excel's GoSeek, it's possible to determine what the basic salary of a particular net salary would be in Excel. So let's take this example for instance. You are thinking of starting a little business in your neighborhood to sell lemonade juice. Before opening the business, you are curious about how your profits, revenue, variable costs will behave with various assumptions. Now, these are your assumptions. You have price, you have demand, you have variable cost, fixed cost, and then this is your target profits. Now, first, based on these existing assumptions, we're going to calculate what our profit is going to be by calculating these line items. So first, revenue is going to be price times demand. We know variable cost is going to be variable cost times demand. Contribution is the difference of the two. Fixed cost is this, it's not influenced by demand. And then profit is the difference of the two. So currently, at existing levels, we are expecting to make a profit of 57,950. Now, this is our output based on these inputs. Now, let's read the first question. It says, how much should you charge to reach your target profits? How much should you charge to reach your target profit? So currently, our target profit is 70,000. Now, how much should we charge in terms of price in order to achieve this target profit of 70,000? Our profit currently is 57,950. So to determine how much price should change in order to achieve 70,000, what we're going to do is first select our profits. That's our goal we are seeking to change. We go to data. Okay. Under data, we have what if analysis. Select GoSeek. So this is the GoSeek window. It has three requirements: set cell, to value, and by changing cell. Set cell is the cell where your final goal is going to be. In this case, our goal is to change profits to 70,000. So once I select it before I activate the GoSeek window, I'm going to have the cell, the active cell address in this window. Next thing is to provide the value I want to change the set cell to. So I want to change it to my target profit of 70,000. And I want this to change to 70,000 by changing my price. So I select this and I select price. Click on this and OK. Okay, so it gives me the results. It says GoSeek status. So seeking with cell C28 found a solution. So my target value was 70,000. My current value is now 70,000. I can hit OK for that. So it tells me that in order for me to achieve 70,000, I need to sell at this current price of 4.4155 and so on. Okay, so that's how you use GoalSeek to run these simulations. So let me just change this back to 4. So this is my original case. I'm going to copy this and paste this back here. Then I get back to my original case. Okay, so I'm going to put this here, 4.42 basically. Okay, now it says the next question, how much should fixed cost be to reach your target profit? Okay, so again, I select profits because that's what I'm changing to, the target profit. Data, what if analysis, GoalSeek. So to value, again, to my target profit of 70,000. And then by changing this time, I want to see how fixed cost must change. Now you notice that in all instances, I'm selecting the values from the assumption section, not my calculation. I didn't select this 45, I selected that 45. Okay, the changing cell must always be a direct input. Okay, it must not be a formula, it must not be a calculation, it must be a direct cell input. Okay, hit OK, and I have this. Okay, so when I hit OK, it tells me that for me to achieve my target profit of 70,000, I have to work with a fixed cost of 32,950. Anything above that, and I'm not going to get my target profit of 70,000. Right? So copy this, paste this here. We are back in business. Last question. What should demand be in order to reach your target profit? What should demand be in order to reach target profit? Okay, so pause the video for a minute and give that a try, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're going to do this together. Select our profit again. Go to data, what if analysis, GoalSeek. This is my selected value. I'm changing this to 70,000 by changing cell demand. Good. And okay. So demand has to be 32,000 at the existing price. It has to be 32,394 in order to achieve your target profit. So 32,394. Okay. So you realize that with GoalSeek, you'll be able to determine what your inputs have to be in order to achieve your desired outputs. A very fantastic tool to use in Excel. So this is how you use GoalSeek in order to run simulations and find out how sensitive your output will be to particular inputs in your calculations. Okay, now let's move on. Now you realize that from what we just did with GoalSeek, we are able to change one input at a time in order to achieve the profits you want to achieve. Okay, you can't change price and demand using GoalSeek. You can't change fixed cost and price using GoalSeek. Okay, so that limitation is what brought the need for another tool called Solver. Solver is it works just like the GoalSeek, but in this case, you have the option to do more. First, you have the option to make changes to more than one input at a time. And you have the option to also add what we call constraints or thresholds to the changes or the levels at which certain inputs can change in your calculation or in your simulation. So to use the solver, you go to data, okay, and under analyze, you should see solver in there, in that ribbon. You should see solver in that ribbon. If you don't have solver over here, don't panic. It's just because you've not activated it. Okay, so what you can do is you can right click on any of these tabs. So customize the ribbon. Okay, and then over here you come to add-ins. Okay, once you select add-ins in your list over here, you should see solver add-in if you are using at least Excel 2016 and upwards, you should see solver add-ins as an Excel add-in. So come to manage, make sure you have Excel add-ins selected over here. The options are Excel add-ins, com add-ins, actions, and so on. So select Excel add-in and then click on go. Okay, then make sure you check this box. So once you check this, you click OK. Okay, and then when you go to data, you should now have solver and analyze. So I'm going to click on solver, and this is the solver dialog box that allows you to run simulations with solver. So let's take a look at what we are supposed to achieve here, and then we'll come back to our solver dialog box. Okay, so over here we have the same business. We have our lemonade business. We have our assumptions. The only difference is now our target profit has been increased to 100,000. Okay, so in this instance, the calculations have already been run for us, and then we are getting our profit of 57,950. Now the question is, how much should price and fixed cost change to reach your target profit? Okay, so currently your profit is 57,950. Your target profit is 100,000. Now, how much should price, which is the first input, and fixed costs, which is the fourth one, how much do they have to change, each of them, in order for you to achieve a target profit of 100,000? Okay, so you realize in this case, we have two inputs changing. So to do this, let's select our target profit, go to data, and select solver. Okay, so once we have that in place, okay, the set objective is just like the set cell. Which cell do you want to set to a particular value? In this case, I want to set profit. So I'm going to click here and select my profit. Okay, and then two, we have maximum, we have minimum, and value of. In this case, I have a value, so I'm going to set the value of. I'm going to click 100,000. Okay, now by changing variable cells, see variable cells, that means you can do more than one selection. So I click on this, and then I'm going to select the cells that I want to make a change to. So price is 1. I can bring a comma and select fixed costs. That's one way of doing that. If I have another one, I can also hold control and select, let's say, variable costs. Okay, but in this case, it's just two, so price and fixed cost. Once I have that in place, the next argument is, do you have constraints? So constraints are something like thresholds or restrictions to how much an input can change. Okay, so for instance, even though I want to change price and fixed cost to achieve my profit of 100,000, I cannot reduce fixed cost to less than 40,000. Okay, because maybe rent on a minimum cost around 40,000 in a particular neighborhood I want to set my business up. Okay, so in that case, I'll set a constraint that fixed costs cannot go below 40,000. So in that case, fixed costs will always be greater than 40,000. So when you need to set those kind of constraints, you come here, you click on add, and you set those constraints. We'll have a look at those instances as we go on. So once we've done that, all we need to do is click on save, on solve, okay? And Excel is going to run its simulation. So Excel is done with this simulation. So it's a solver found a solution, and then everything has been done. So currently, per solver solution, you realize that price has increased to 5.449999, and fixed costs remain the same. You get it? So that's the instance where you have this. So price has to be 5.44999, or basically 5.45, for you to achieve your target profit of 100,000 if its cost is the same. Okay, so we can select or we can accept this, we can reject it. So it's a keep solver solution, restore original value. If I click on this and I click OK, the cells are going to restore the original value I had. Is that okay? So I'm going to keep the value and click OK, and I have this. Now let's see if we can run a simulation where both price and fixed cost is going to change. So you see currently it's what, 5.449. Let me put it back up 4. Let's run the simulation again. Let's come to data, come to solver, and then over here we still have our old inputs. Let me add a constraint that so add constraint. I'm going to say the price, okay, should be less than or equal to, at all instances, it shouldn't be more than 5.10. Okay, I'm going to click OK. So this is my constraints. I'm done with that. I'm going to click on solve. Okay, so you see currently my price is what, 5.1, which was the maximum price I gave. You can't go above 5.1. My fixed cost is what, 34,850 to give me my profit of 100,000. Okay, so you can really play with this to run certain simulations to achieve what you want. So I'm going to put here price equals to 5.1, and then I'm going to say fixed cost, so FC should equal to 34850. So there you have it. And then for some of you, you're going to have different values because these are simulations. Anyone can get any value as long as it gives you the profit of 100,000. Okay, it says, okay, so question number 2, it says, how much should price and fixed cost change to reach your target profit, given the constraint that fixed cost cannot be lower than 41,000, right? So we want to change price and profit, but I want to set a constraint that fixed cost cannot be greater than 41,000. Okay, so let's do this together. Let's come to data. Okay, let's come to solver. So currently we have our inputs in there. Let's see. So this is our, let's just be sure, this is our profit over here. We are setting it to a target profit of 100,000. Changing cells, just click here. We have C14, which is price, and then we have fixed cost of that. We have our constraints of this. Okay, so okay, so before we do this, let's change our price to the original price of 4. Okay, and let's change our fixed cost to 45,000. Okay, now let's start. So we go to data, we go to solver. Okay, now this is our initial inputs, right? So we have this here, we have our target profit, we have our price and our fixed cost selected. Now currently we already have a constraint from our initial example. If you don't want that, you can select it, click on delete. Okay, and then you come back and click on add. So add. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the cell for fixed cost, which is 45,000, and say this cannot be greater than 41,000. So it's less than or equal to 41,000. If I have another constraint, I'm going to click on add. But in this case, I don't, so okay. And then with this in place, I'm going to click on solve. Okay. Runs the simulation. Solver results are in. Once I click on OK, voila. So it tells me that in order for fixed cost to be 41,000, at least price has to be 5.312 and so on in order for you to achieve your profit of 100,000. So that's how Solver works. Very useful tool for you to run analysis if you want to change multiple inputs at a time and you want to take consideration or you want to take into consideration certain constraints to your various inputs. Okay, Moving on, we have scenario manager. Scenario manager. Now, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you've wanted to switch between certain scenarios to see how profits will behave whilst inputs switched? Okay, now in Excel, there's a very useful tool called a scenario manager that helps you register various scenarios in Excel. Okay, and then as you switch between those scenarios, all affected inputs change as well. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we want to build three scenario case. So our first scenario, which is the existing scenario, the base case, price is going to be 4, demand is going to be 29,000, fixed cost is going to be 45,000, so on and so forth. The best case is if price is 5, demand is 29,800, variable cost is 30 plus words, and then fixed cost is 40,000. And the worst case is if price is 3, demand is 28,000, variable cost is 0.55, and fixed cost is 45,000. Okay, so you realize that you have three different possible values for each input. Okay, so to create our scenarios, we need a scenario manager, and that can be found in data. So come to data, what if analysis, scenario manager. Okay, so once we have the scenario manager right here, what we're going to do is it's very simple. All you need to do is click add to add a new scenario. Then in case you want to delete a scenario, you select it and delete. So I'm going to click add. My first scenario is called the base case. Now, which cells am I changing? Okay, so I need to select all the cells I'm changing. So I'm selecting this group of cells. So you just highlight them. Okay, then you can give a comment. Okay, so I'm going to say this is base case scenario created by Danoy. Okay, so let me just copy this and let me just hit on OK. Now, once you hit on OK, the cells you selected will be provided to you with the options to provide the new values you want for those cells. Okay, so currently these are the values over here, and this is what our original base case is supposed to be. So you realize the base case is the same as the values over here. So price is 4, demand is 29,000, variable cost is 0.45, and then fixed cost is 45,000. So we're okay with this. Okay, but then we're not done providing all our scenarios. So click add to provide a new scenario. Okay, we're going to call this best case. Changing the same cells. Okay, let me paste my comments. I'm going to call this best case scenario created by Danoy. You don't necessarily have to provide a comment. You can do this without providing a comment. It's not really necessary. Hit OK. Now, for the best case, you realize the price is for 5, not 4. So change that to 5. Demand is 29,800. Price is 0.30. And then fixed cost is 40,000. Okay. So I'm going to hit OK on this. And we have base case and best case. The reason why I'm hitting OK is because I could have hit add and then added the last one straight ahead, but you can also click add over here. That also works. Then we have the worst case. Okay. Okay, so for the worst case, price is 3. Demand is 28,000. Variable cost is 45,000. And the fixed cost is 45,000. Variable cost is 0.55. Fixed cost is 45,000. Once I'm truly done, I can now hit OK. And I have these three in place. Okay. So now what happens is currently these are my base case. Now if I select the worst case and I click on show, You realize that the values for price, demand, and everything has been changed to the worst case scenario. So currently I'm running the worst case scenario and seeing how that affects profit. I can just quickly click on base case, show, and then it tells me that if I run the base case, if I'm able to get price of 5, demand at 29,800, variable cost at 0.3, and fixed cost at 40,000, my profit is going to be what? 100,000. If I double click on the base case, that's another alternative to showing. It's going to give me the inputs as the base case scenario I set. So this is a very good way to do some presentation or do some demonstration on how various lines in Excel are affected by changes in your inputs. Okay, so it's a very good way to, probably you have a presentation or something of that sort. You have different scenarios you want to look at. Just double click on it, and then it demonstrates how your profit lines affected by changes in your various inputs. Okay, so with that in place, you can just click close. And one thing about this is when you click close, you can always go back to data, what if analysis, show scenario, and then it will come back again. They will still be there. Okay, when you're truly done with them, you can just click on delete and then it's gone. Okay, that's it for scenario manager. The next stop is data tables. Okay, so data tables. So still going ahead with our lemonade business. Okay, we want to look at something very interesting in our analysis. We want to see how sensitive profit is to changes in some of our line items. So this is what I mean. So currently, price, demand, variable cost, fixed cost is generating a profit of 57,900. Now let's take fixed cost for example. How sensitive is profit to fixed cost? As profit increases as fixed cost increases by 2,000 from 35,000 all the way to 51,000. We want to see what the various profits is going to be like as this increases over this range. Okay, so we're going to use what we call the data table. It's a very simple tool to use, very simple tool to use. The most important thing is you structure your layouts this way. Okay, so your input fixed cost, the various fixed costs you're trying to look at, then you have a side for your results, and then this point is very important. This is where you're going to link your data table to your model, your calculation. So over here, I'm going to do equal to, this is my profit, enter. Okay, so basically, this data table is going to allow me determine how sensitive profit is to fixed cost. At these various fixed cost levels, holding all other lines constant, what am I going to get for profit? So let's do this together. So let's select this. You go to data, what if analysis, data table. Okay, and it's very simple. These are the requirements for data table: row input cell, column input cell. Now, both of them can be used, but it depends on, again, how the data table has been structured. If the inputs of your data table are in one particular column, you use column input cell. If the inputs of your data table are in one particular row, you use row input cell. So in this case, you realize that for fixed cost, all my inputs are in one particular column. So I'm going to use column input cell. Okay. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to link this data table to fixed cost over here and a column input cell. And I'm going to hit OK. And that's it. You see that? So because fixed cost was in one particular column, I will link the assumption side, the input side of fixed cost in the column input cell. So what data tables is going to do is it's going to feed this model or this particular cell with these values over here and see how this value keeps changing. And then as it changes, it inputs the values over here. That's basically how it works. Okay. So now let's try this time with this kind of layout. We have unit price. These are the various unit price. We want to see how profit will change with this various unit price. So we want to equal to, okay, equal to our profit like this. And then what I'm going to do is select the entire area for our data tables. Come to data, what if analysis, data tables. Again, you realize that all our inputs are in one particular row. So this is going to be a row input cell. Click here and select price. Okay, hit this and okay. See, and it tells you that at 3 cedis, you're going to make 28,950. At 3.5, by increasing price by just 0.5, you are increasing profits by close to 15,000. Okay, so just 0.5 increase in price shows you how much profit increases. Okay, and then you realize that this, so profit is more sensitive to price than it is to fixed cost, because fixed cost, as you increase fixed cost by just 2,000, profit also increases by 2,000. But the price is just a 0.5 increase in price, and then price is increasing significantly. Profit is increasing significantly. Okay, so this is one way data table when you just have one input that's changing. Now let's look at price and fixed cost. So you have fixed cost here on the column side with price. Okay, now I want to see how profit is influenced by price and fixed cost. So again, I'll equate this to my calculations. And we have this. Now you highlight your entire data table. Go to data, what if analysis, data table. So which inputs can you find on a particular row? Realize that for me, it's the price. I can find price on a particular row. So equal to select price, column, equal to, or select fixed cost. Okay, like this. Then we have this. Okay, so realize that at the price of 4 and fixed cost of this, we are getting our calculation of 45,000 for 7,950. Okay, and at these various prices and fixed cost levels, you can tell how much you are making in profits. Okay, so this is the end of our simulations in Excel. A very useful and handy topic. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for joining us for this section. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. We'll attend to them. See you in the next section. Bye.
If this video was helpful and you would like to receive more of these videos directly on your WhatsApp, you can send ad to this WhatsApp number. We'll add you to our broadcast list so you receive our videos directly. You can also visit our YouTube channel, Finance Skills Hub. All our old videos are here. Please subscribe for notification of new videos or connect with us on any of these social media handles. Thank you so much for watching.